Boom. You
All
guys
right.
are live.
We're
Rock
live.
and
We're
roll.
live.
We're
All
live.
right.
We're into it. Okay.
All right.
Marshall Geiger,
Yes.
welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We've been just doing a rapid fire conversation
Yeah.
for a few minutes, and
Yeah.
I think maybe we regret not hitting record earlier.
Yeah.
But so far we can backtrack a little bit
Sure.
on what I've learned about you, because I think the listeners will love to hear that background, and whether you dive into it as part of your story or not, that's
Yeah.
up to you.
Absolutely.
So husband,
Yes.
father,
Yes.
former Marine. Thank you for your
Yes.
service. That's amazing.
Appreciate
That's no joke. And that's where you actually met your wife, was when you were
Correct. Correct.
out at Camp Pendleton. Words are tough today.
Yeah.
Okay.
MySpace.
Got it. Through MySpace. Yes. So there's a throwback to Tom in MySpace. I think, isn't it Tom? Wasn't he the one? Everyone's friend was Tom?
It was Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Tom.
So Tom, we thank Tom that
Thank
you
you,
and your
Tom.
wife are married.
Yes. Thank you.
Just kidding. I think we'll give all the glory to God. But
Yes,
Tom helped.
absolutely.
God made Tom help.
Yes.
So, and prior to that, we were doing you were just firing off some stuff. We were, I think Adam used the word rambling, but I think we were somehow banging through the Bible in a few spots before we started.
Correct.
And you kind of tied it together with the last verse of Matthew chapter 20, verse 16 is the last, or no, sorry, not the last verse, just in the parable of the workers in the vineyard. It says, so the last will be first and the first will be last. And I think that's a good spot for us to jump into your faith journey, because you, in the little bit I've got to talk to you, you're new, but you're excited.
Yes.
And you're very adamant on it's not a you thing. You're a nobody.
No,
You said
I'm
you're
nobody.
like I'm a nobody.
No, actually, on the drive here, I'm like, what am I gonna say when I first, what am I? This is the first time I've ever been on anything like this, you
Yeah.
know. So I'm like, what do I even say? I mean, I'm obviously want to give praise to God, right? So what do I say? I'm nobody.
Yeah.
I'm a nobody. I
Yeah.
am weak. I am just, I'm human. But when you have God in your life, it becomes a lot better.
I'm excited. God, I'm excited. I am just like, you give an energy, and like, I don't know what it's like that. There's so many, I think, how do I say this? There's so many new Christians that I think don't know like that next step. And that's not wrong at all, right? Because I mean,
No.
I don't think I have it all figured out at all.
We never will until we're back home,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we'll know.
Yes.
We'll know all the answers then. But it's the energy, because at least for me, like, accepting Christ in my life, there's like an initial, like, you just want to like go, like, you're like, I'm on fire.
100%.
And when you see that fire, and that's kind of what you bring. Like, I see this fire and I'm like, I just want to watch this thing burn. I want to see this thing go. Cause
Yeah.
like, it's like
Man.
alive.
It
And
is.
it's super neat. If you've listened to any other the other podcasts, we've had some diverse age group and crowd. And, our last one was, he's almost 70 years old.
Mhm.
He's been in the Word for a long time. And he had a tremendous testimony and story to tell. But now the energy you bring as like a new, and I'm not, I'm using air
Yes.
quotes if you're not watching, new Christian, it's just fun, because
Yes.
the things you're saying are like, that's what every Christian should be living forever. That
Yes.
excitement.
Yes, 100%.
And that humbleness, that I am a
100%.
servant.
100%.
Yeah.
And me being a human, right? We question things, and we'll get into it, like as further it goes on. But I mean, I'm a nobody, and I mean, I even figured that out more than once, even, through my experience, and, just living the life that I did, which is, pretty much sitting at last place all the time, and always trying to be a better person, be a better person, not for myself, but for my family, but there was an equation that was added to that, and that equation was God.
You're flipping over a lot of stones and a lot
Oh,
of
here.
looking for it.
Here, yeah, you talk about stones, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Check this out.
Reach in his pocket.
Yeah,
All right.
I
All right.
can't. Man,
He's prepared.
hey, man, authentic, right?
Yeah.
Here, so here's a gift.
What's this?
So
Look at that.
I carry agates in my
Yeah.
pocket, and I give them to people. You know,
That's
and I
sweet.
say, you know, for me, right? For me, I look at that rock, and it brings me closer to God, right? Not closer to God, but more of a remembrance, like, because God created everything,
Yeah.
every single thing, you know, from
Yeah.
the stars, you know, planets. Think from, you know, the moment that you open that book, you know what I mean? Start there and work your way down to what we are now and what that rock is. So I kind of give people you know, a task. If they can figure out how that rock was created, they might be able to find how they were created.
Wow. That is cool, man.
Yeah. So that's
This
just a
is a
little.
first. Yeah. And I'm not condoning anyone like we need gifts. That's not what we're doing this for. But this is sweet. This is wow, talk about authentic and
Yeah.
just
Hey,
wow.
you got to be
Very cool.
authentic. I mean,
Dude, that's special. I appreciate that.
hey, man.
That I'll use this as a reminder at my desk those days where I think I got it figured out and I'm not figuring it out.
Correct.
I'll be able to go,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
This will ground me.
Yes.
That's awesome. Super cool. I'm gonna set it right here for now, just so I can look at it while we're doing this.
All
Otherwise,
right.
I'll put it in my pocket later. But
Yeah.
awesome. That's cool. So when did you start doing that? So tell me about the agate thing.
Oh,
Is
wow.
that something you've been?
Yeah. So.
Not to go down a tangent
No,
right away,
man,
but let's just you brought it
okay.
up.
Yeah, so like I never even knew anything about agates.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, we're trying to, you know, figure out, you know, family things to do, you know. And
Okay.
so we do, you know, this is years ago, okay?
Okay.
And so we, you know, go looking for agates, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, we'd go look for agates, and you know, the kids and stuff like that. Well, you know, you know, I would sit there and clean them, you know, for like therapy and kind of just reflection, right? And reflection on the day, or you know, whatever might have been bothering me.
Yeah.
And you know, this is, you know, after my experience, which we'll get into, but
Okay.
it kind of shed light on me, like, you know, like everything's been created, you know, from
Yeah.
by God,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and like, and how beautiful the rocks are, right?
Yeah.
But they're
They
not
are.
that beautiful. They are not that beautiful when you pick them up off the ground. So
Yeah.
what you have to do is clean them off a little bit, make them a little bit shiny, right? Just like us.
Yeah. We're the clay.
We're dirt. We're dirty.
Yeah.
You know, we're dirty. You know, and but underneath that dirt, we're clean, right? We shine, right? We get all that stuff off of us. You know, whether it be addictions, whether it be, you know, just whatever you're going through in life. You know, you can kind of look at the rock in a way that, you know, the beauty's kind of underneath.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like we've probably all heard it. What's the sculptor who's, you know, carving away at the wood and, you know, he's chipping away at it. And then someone goes, oh, you made this amazing masterpiece. And they're like, the masterpiece has always been there.
Correct.
I just polished up some of the rough edges.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of
Yes.
that same principle.
Correct. Yes.
And looking at it from more of a internal
Yes.
viewpoint versus external. Because we're so
Correct.
external, right? Everything's visual. We look at everything and
Yes.
we want to touch it, feel it,
Yes.
smell it. And that's how we're gratified. Our
Yes.
human nature is
Yes.
gratified.
Yes.
And that's why we're never pleased.
Yes.
So you got to find that.
Yes.
Got it. I like it.
Yeah.
That's sweet. So that's something you and your family do. That's cool. I like
Yeah.
that you picked a family thing you can do that is probably relatively inexpensive. You just
Yes.
got to like throw a pair of boots or shoes on or sandals or
Yes.
flip
Correct.
whatever topography you're
Correct.
working on
Yes.
and just go do it.
Correct.
That is cool. That's a great idea. I love that.
Yes. I look at it as like, you know, if you can see the beauty in everything, you know what I mean? Because everything is beautiful.
Yeah.
Right? When you can see it for what it is, and, you know, the creation of how was a tree made? How was a plant? Like, what? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you go into the depths of that and just see beauty in everything, or at least try to see beauty in everything. You know what I mean? And that goes along with love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just, love is the most powerful thing. You know, that people think maybe power is telling somebody what to do, or, having a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's not. You know, it, God is love.
Yeah. And love, God is love, love is God.
Yes.
And that's something, if someone wants to take a deep dive into some old, I'm taking a small spin on this. Someone wants to take a deep dive into some early 2000s, late 90s, like Christian hip hop. This guy named John Rubin. Chuck can fact check it. John Rubin has a song called God is Love. And it says that exact thing.
Wow.
Love is God and God is love.
It's so
and it's
true.
It's fantastic. It actually has some early day Toby Mac in it, I think, as well.
I do know Toby Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's back when he was younger, and we'll have to throw maybe a link to that song or add it in there.
Absolutely.
But that's love is that's a big thing to bring up. And I think that goes into, I mean, isn't that, Adam here, double check me on this, or Chuck, isn't that God's greatest command? Love thy neighbor as thyself. I mean, isn't that like the basis of all the things he says? Isn't it basically, if you, love others more than yourself, that if you do that, the other stuff becomes more easy, is kind of how I look at it.
Yes.
Like God's saying, hey, this is the thing. If you get this, the rest of this kind of follows, because you're probably not going to steal. You're probably not going to murder. You're not going to covet. You're not, all the other stuff's going to kind of fade away if we all love each other.
Correct.
I
mean, I look at it like, it's so simple but so complex, right? Because, for one, right, I don't think anybody ever wants to not, like, they want to be mad, right? They don't want to live life and be mad, right? They want love.
Yeah.
Whether it's me, like, like, I love to go do agates. It makes me happy, but I love my wife as well. You know what I mean? Like, and I want to pursue what makes me happy, because that's what I'm kind of loving, right? You know what I mean? Like, those simple things that we miss, right? Like, we look at life as like, oh, an argument is going to solve something, right?
Look for conflict.
Yeah, like, who's right and who's wrong. You know what I mean? And in reality, we just want to both be happy. And
both want to be heard.
Yeah, and get it over with, and just love, I mean? Because, like, that is the greatest thing that you could do, is love thy neighbor as thyself, right? And the perfect example is that, I was struggling, at one point in time, and I'm just, like, trying to, give my testimony to my family, my friends, and it's just like, there's nobody at all that I can talk to besides God, right? And I kid you not, I asked God to please bring me somebody in my life, right, that I could relate to, and we can talk, right? And it probably like a week, maybe 2 weeks later, I live in a cul-de-sac. The neighbor across from me, he's from, I don't even know exactly where he's from, but that was the gift.
The neighbor. Okay.
I can't explain it, other than when I first met him, is that I already knew him.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I knew him already.
Interesting.
And he happens to be very religious, right? And he's helped me, right? So I give thanks to God, give thanks to Albert, which is his name.
Yeah.
Which he actually runs a nonprofit called Yarmito's Helping Hand. So if you guys wanted to take a look at that, that's, be much appreciated by him.
Okay.
But yeah, those things like that, when you're in your darkest spot, you know what I mean? And one thing I've learned is that I always have to go to God first with every single thing. Doesn't matter what it is. I mean, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed.
Yeah.
Because everything that's here, whether it be my wife, everything that falls in line comes from there first. You know what I mean? So, um, taking those argument things to God first, and
Yeah.
let him work it out,
Yep.
and not try to be human and try to make it work, push yourself in the spot. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Yeah.
following you.
But yeah. Yeah.
So right now, what we're gathering is ex-Marine and a big lover. So we
Oh
got
man.
Marine and a lover.
Yeah.
Like, two things I didn't have, on my bingo card today, but I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. I mean,
So let's dive back then. So what was, so you're a Marine. So where does your story, where do you feel kind of like, hey, this is what was going on, and then how do we get to where God intervened, or how did you start? And now in hindsight, where do you
yeah.
see the spots where
Okay.
he was pulling at you or nudging you, and you go, you were there the whole time?
Yes. Well, man, there's so many,
Yeah,
right? Like, but we'll start from, just being a kid, right?
yeah,
My mom, she's a great woman,
yeah.
right?
Every mom is.
Yeah, correct.
Moms are tough ladies.
And she's like anybody, right? She had her flaws, but she got caught. So during my childhood, it was her in jail, right? And my dad, just working.
Yeah.
Who he was a janitor at a school,
Okay.
but the greatest man, right?
Yeah.
Nice, caring, always gave food to strangers that would come over, always just kind,
Generosity just
Correct,
overflowed.
correct. But what he lacked is I don't see it like now as being away from me. He had to do what he had to do. You know what I mean? So it left me, my sister, kind of just being free to
Just
teenagers.
surviving.
Yeah. So, I lived like, just, meal to meal, not have no money, stuff like that. When my parents were together, we were like living in motels, or just like living in a car, so like I remember all this stuff.
Yeah.
My mom wasn't the best wife neither. So like, and being authentic, right? I have to be. I can't, I'm gonna say it. Like there was times where my mom would bring me into a hotel and she would be like sleeping with somebody else, and I'm trying to like be, like no, like don't like.
You're trying to figure out right and wrong.
Yes.
You're a young kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but I'm still like that's not my dad kind
Yeah.
of thing, So, just growing up like that, right? Just not having that family, right? So you kind of you're just all over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Unfortunately, the world can really grab a
Correct.
hold of you in that
Yes.
situation.
yes.
Yeah.
So, during my, teenage years, I smoked weed, I did pills, I did, mushrooms, like I was a teenager, man. So, I'm like, I gotta get out of this stuff.
Is that where the Marines came in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't graduate high school.
Okay.
Right? So at this time, like when I did, I had to go back to school to get into the Marine Corps
Oh yeah.
and all that stuff. So like I had a great recruiter that, helped me get, back into school, get my GED, then, go into the Marine Corps. So I wanted to just better myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean
Like,
that's a
so-
big step.
Yeah, so I mean, like, it's like, okay, this is what I want to do. I need to get out of this life, become somebody better. I know that the military pays, for
Yeah,
your schooling.
they're gonna help
and
out
all
with
that
those
stuff,
things.
And, and it's just like, okay, I got to meet my wife, and stuff like that. And, well, in the Marine Corps, I got hurt. I hurt my hand. I got, so like, I was put on like pain medicines and stuff. Like I got stuck on that.
Okay.
Like you get stuck on that stuff,
Yeah.
and it took me a while to get off, man,
Yeah.
and
Did the Marines help you? Would you say it helped you find what you were looking for a little bit
Oh.
at that point?
man, it was it was great. I mean, when you talk about brotherhood,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like
That military brotherhood
yeah,
is real.
I mean, that's real.
Yep.
You know, and I feel like that's the feeling of love, right? When we talk about loving one another, that's the kind of love we should be trying to show everybody. You know what I mean?
What's the verse? Greater love hath no man than this, to lay down his life for his friends. Is that John? 1 John? I don't remember what verse that is. It's kind of like the military verse, though. It's like, hey, no, you don't love more than this. If I'm willing to go to war, die for you,
100%.
You know, greater love. That's the greater love.
And it was exactly what I was looking for, because I didn't have that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like that's what I was looking for, and it was great. You know, and gave me great skills. It gave me
You built a foundation.
Correct.
You had. It sounds like you went from a little bit of. Okay, a lot of unstructure, a lot of just kind of hip fire, figuring it out, to now you understand, you know, and not to make this all military, but you went from hip fire to like, all right, now we're going to actually like tactically like put something down range here. Correct. So you're like, all right, this is mealtime, this is physical fitness, this is education, this is training, and we're doing this as a team. We're doing this as brothers and sisters.
100%, 100%. And, you know, having that framework, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't there before helped out a lot.
Did that mature you quite a bit?
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, well,
yes and no.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, after all that, you know, I got out, you know, kind of went through the trying to get off pills kind of thing and stuff like that. And, you know, I did, started, you know, working, right? I tried to go to school.
Yep.
Right, but something happened with my paperwork, right, and like it kind of just like fell backwards, right, because I was about to have my first child, right, and it was just so much going on,
you
know, so it just kind of played out the way it was. I would work, you know, jobs that, you know, I was busting my butt, you know, trying to, you know, just make ends meet, man, you know, and it just continued on, just, you know, from here to next one, right, just trying to find where I fit, right.
Chuck found the verse.
Oh, yeah. What is it? Fire it up.
So
was I right?
The verse is
kind of close.
John.
Okay.
15:13.
Okay.
And it says, "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend."
Proverbs 17:17. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity.
That's another good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, things hit, you know? So, working.
Yeah. And were you still in California right now?
No. So, okay. So this is, okay, so I got out of the Marine Corps.
Yep.
Obviously, came back home to Wisconsin with, you know, transitioning. My wife got her stuff. She moved to Wisconsin. We lived there for like a couple years. Then we moved to Moorhead, and then moved back to Wisconsin. Then we moved to.
Was the moving kind of job related? Kind of just looking for a spot to fit in?
Yes, it was more like, okay, we're just trying to figure out life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. As a young couple with, you know, at that time when we had one kid, then we went to two kids, and we're just like, both families are separated, and we both kind of wanted to be by, you know, each other's family, because we both, you know, when we were in Wisconsin, she had nobody.
Yeah.
She felt like she had nobody.
Yep.
Right. So like, just, you know, being who I was, right, I'm like, let's just go to Minnesota then, right? Then, you know, obviously some things, you know, didn't work out when we went to Minnesota, so we went back to Wisconsin, you know, and it was like, all right, well, then we'll move back to Minnesota. Well, you know, we moved to Elk River. I can't remember what year it was, but I was still living in Wisconsin at the time while she came out to Elk River and kind of got things situated. Cause her family was starting to like make their way into that area. Okay. Right, from Moorhead.
Yep.
So she kind of had some family here, her sister and her husband, stuff like that. So while I was back home, I was just, you know, working there, just busting my butt. Obviously, I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do forever. Okay. You know what I mean?
Wasn't necessarily fulfilling work, but it fulfilled the bills and it met the needs.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So, you know, when I got out here, I worked for, you know, a couple places until I found a pretty good place to work at, right? Like, you know, I worked there for probably about 6 years, you know, and just busting my butt. I mean, anywhere I went,
Yeah.
it was just who I was. It was my
Yeah.
nature, you
Yeah.
know, just to, you know, just do everything I could to be the best, right?
Well, I mean, that's Marines.
Yeah.
The few, the proud,
You
the
know,
Marines.
but it wasn't to be better than somebody else. It was
Yeah.
just trying to,
Be the best you.
yes, you know, and it's like, you know, it just wore on me. You know what I mean? Like, because no matter how hard I tried, no matter what I did, I was always last.
Mm.
Always last. And it kind of ate at me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's tough as a man because you want to see some reward for hard work. You want to
Correct.
see.
Well, you're told that.
Yeah.
You're told
You know, and
that.
you watch
work hard,
TV.
yeah.
Yeah.
You work hard, you're going to get somewhere, you know? And
Yeah.
it's like, man, where is that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because it wasn't happening. You know what I mean? Even though it's like, you know, you feel like you could have got that position or you might have been entitled to something, right? But,
Yeah.
you know, it didn't happen like that, right? Then, you know, I started to, I actually got a phone call. I got a phone call out of nowhere, man, right? Saying, hey, Marshall, you know, we found your paperwork for schooling. This is like 6 months before it's about to end completely, dude.
Oh yeah.
Right? And I'm like, heck yeah. You know,
Yeah.
so like, you know, I'm like, you know, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I'm working full time.
Mm-hmm. And a father of 2 at this time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Father of 2 at this time.
Yeah.
And so like I ended up, you know, wanting to go for software engineering because I always like, man, I would love to build an app. It's kind of
Yeah. Well, and look at the world right now. That's a
Yeah.
big industry to be in.
Correct. So, you know, and so I got all that stuff. I was like, wow, this is crazy how this happened, right? Like,
And then it was out of the blue.
dude, yes, they said that they sent my paperwork somewhere else, you know, and they finally got it back, right? Like, wow, 6 months before it's about to end.
And who tries that hard?
Yeah.
Right? Like who, on the other end, who's
Yes.
actually trying that hard to get you
Correct.
that paperwork?
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, you see it from already,
Yeah.
from the angle I'm looking at. But I didn't know that at then.
Yeah.
I did not even, that was
You just took it like, I've been working so hard. I deserve some luck came my way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. So, you know, I, you know, kind of told the place I was working at, you know, like I'm going to be going to school. So kind of, you know, might kind of, you know, need to do part-time here and there, right?
How'd they take that?
They took it pretty well. You know, they took it pretty well. But I wasn't going to like leave that company. I was actually, you know.
Well, that's great. I mean, I was just asking because that's tough on a company.
It is.
You know?
Yes, correct. And so, you know, I trained the people in stuff that needed to be trained in and you know, got them situated to where they needed to be at. And I still, you know, would come in and help out in the shop or, you know, do the paperwork on the back end. But my ultimate goal was to use the skills that I was obtaining in school to, you know, put the company in a better spot, you know, and that was very plain. Like I was stated, you know, this is what I'm
That was your
doing.
intention.
Correct.
Yeah. So you had great intentions.
Yes, correct. Because, you know, having like a bad intention is like, it hasn't been that in my head. It hasn't really ever been there.
Okay.
Like putting somebody down or
Yeah.
bad intentions. So, you know, I'm going to school, man, and I'm at like 2 years in school, right? And I'm like 5 years at this company, right? And, you know, dude, this is crazy. So my body was just killing me all the time, bro. You know, like just back hurting, neck hurting, just hands hurting, just everything is hurting, just everywhere, you know. And I had a neighbor, or I still do have a neighbor who was like a massage therapist or a chiropractor. In a sense, right?
Yep.
And she had mentioned to me one time that, you know, like for
Marshall, we can tell people that this is a metal shop.
Okay. Yes.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Marshall was testing products, quality control, back end. Marshall did everything from the time it left the welders and the finishers' hands. It was Marshall.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Huge.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
I was putting time in.
Yeah.
I even before that,
Mhm.
you know, I was working like 14, 15 hours a day, coming in at 4 a.m,
Yeah.
listening to motivational, you know, people talking like, you wake up at 4 a.m. and you get
the,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
you get the David Goggins going.
Yes,
and,
correct.
yeah.
You know, and it's just like, yeah, you know, just
By
getting-
7, you're like,
yeah, you know, but you know, you just kept pushing. You kept pushing. You didn't want to let anybody down, right? You kind
and now your body's paying for it.
It was yes.
Okay.
It was paying for it. I mean, not just from there, but just from just life in
Yeah.
general. Just
Yeah, Marines and just everything. Yeah.
everything, man. And you know, so I'm just you know hurting. You know, I'm hurting. So, like again, I told you know I got that neighbor. She you know said use a tennis ball. You know, and I just happened to remember, right? And I started using this, and this sounds so goofy. I'm telling you, this is how it happened.
Yeah.
Right. I was sitting on a tennis ball, like in just these random spots.
Yeah, just
right?
to work out knots and different
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So, you know, and I'm working out these knots all over my body, dude, you know, and it's like my body's like transforming in a sense, right? And I can't even explain it, but it's just like I'm feeling my legs again, man.
Yeah.
And you don't realize that you don't have the same feeling in your legs that you know what I mean? Until
Because
you
it's a slow, you lose it slowly,
yes,
right?
you
Yeah.
use it slowly, so it's like you don't think of it,
Yeah.
you know. So it's like I'm like, holy crap, right? I'm just like, I feel my feet, I can feel my legs. What?
Yeah.
Because even though I could feel them, I couldn't feel them.
Yeah.
You
Just
know?
kind of a numbness, a pain that just kind of a
Correct.
dull.
100%. And you explained it very well. Just kind of slowly over time, we just let it go. But that goes along with everything else too. Everything built up inside, all that stuff. We kind of just let it go, you know, and just let it slide. Well, you know, I started doing that, man, and like, I'm just feeling great, dude. Like, I felt like I was floating, dude. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. I felt like I was a kid,
Yeah.
right? Like, my body was back to being a child.
You were rubber. You'd bounce off anything.
Dude, it was just
you're
like I
alive.
could run, I can
Yeah.
feel my legs.
Nothing hurt anymore.
Yeah, like I'm like, well, I'm telling everyone, I'm like, here, take a tennis ball, man. It'll help you. It'll save you. You know what I mean? Like, dude, and I look at it and I'm like, dude, this is hilarious, right? But it was truth.
Yeah.
It wasn't, you know, I'm just trying to like, if there's so many people like me that I'm like, hey, just try a tennis ball.
If it works for me, it might work for someone else.
Correct.
That's all we can do.
100%. And at this time, there's nothing like stopping me from telling somebody to use a tennis ball. I'll still tell somebody to use a tennis ball. I still sit on a tennis ball or move it, and you know. But you know, as I'm doing that, like I'm starting to get like this triangle vision, and like it was really like the perspective, what it was, right? Like it was like the shades, right, or the veil was being removed. But I didn't know any of this. Right? I'm just trying to give you a perspective.
Yeah.
All I could say was like a triangle perspective that was there, and it was just like I was becoming aware of more things. Right?
Interesting. Okay.
Okay.
So hang on, I'm gonna pause quick because I didn't really ask it yet. Did you grow up? I mean, was there any background of like in the church or anything really at all with
No.
God, or I mean, pretty much zero? I mean, you knew. Like, what was your knowledge of, say, Christianity or God at this point?
I knew
leading up to this.
Yeah. So my family did not go to church.
Okay. Yep.
Not at all.
Yep.
So growing up, I did not go to church.
Yep.
Right. But I've obviously, you know, I had a friend, right, whose family was into the church, you know, and we were really good friends. And every so often we'd go to like their Bible study, right? And it was like maybe 2 times I went there. But there was this one time where we had, it was like they were singing and stuff there, you know, and like we were in the front row, dude. And I just got this overwhelming feeling over me, dude. And I had to like start walking out. As I'm walking out, I pass out.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
I fall down on the ground. Right? I have this crazy dream where I'm like in an ambulance and stuff, right? But I wake up and I'm like looking at these people that are looking at me, and I'm just like, whew, right to the bed. I'm like probably like 12 years old or something.
Okay.
Like
Because you're embarrassed now at that point.
yeah,
You're like,
so I'm like, I need to get something to drink, man.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, whoa, which we'll talk about later because that dream happened in real life later on in my life.
okay.
But yeah, so I never went to church or anything like
Yep.
that. And
Okay.
I mean, my wife would go because she was grown. She grew up in the church
Okay.
and stuff like that. So
So when you met her, did you guys go then, or when you had kids, did you guys kind of plug in at all, or was she kind of going a little bit, but you weren't really going with, or what was it like then?
so she and like the family would go together.
Okay.
But when I would go, dude, I didn't know what in the world these people were talking about. I had no idea.
You were just kind of going.
I'm like, who
but-
is this person? Like, because in sense, I'm like, I need to know
Yeah.
who, you know what I mean? Like, I can't just put worship to something I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, or, you know what I
Okay.
mean? Like,
Yep.
I'm just not. I just couldn't.
You're not built that
comprehend.
way. Yeah.
I
Yep.
wasn't
You're very
comprehending.
logical, very,
Yes.
explain it to me first. I want to
Yes.
understand it.
Correct. Like, and it was just like, I don't know what these people are talking about, but I'm trying, right? And we did, go for a little bit and just fall out.
Okay.
It wasn't, it was just being
Very,
human.
but it was very just surface level. There was really it's just kind of
That was it.
it was
Yeah.
like going to the grocery store. Kind
Correct.
Of just
Correct.
all right. Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
You know?
So back to the triangle. So back to this.
Yeah.
Your body. You're starting to feel a little better in this triangle
Oh, man.
vision.
It was great, man. I mean, it still is around, but I'm saying, my body's feeling great. Triangle vision. I got this like thumping, like vibration thing going on in my ear. I couldn't explain that, like,
Yeah.
more than what it was, like a vibration. And, just feeling amazing, man. I'm getting all these like, creative ideas for the place that I was working for at the time, right? And I'm talking like out of the craziest, like, but real.
Yeah.
I'm writing them down, I'm jotting them down, and I'm drawing them out, and I'm just tinkering all this stuff. My mind is just, I'm like, I'm fired, man.
You're like the guy. You're like the book writer, the that had writer's block, and now you're
Yes.
don't. It's gone, and you're just
Yes.
moving.
Yes, dude, 100%. And so like I'm just going at it, man. And at this time, they were looking for somebody to cover a spot for like a field service technician. So,
Okay.
Well, let me go back. Sorry.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I'm having all these designs, all this stuff going on. I'm feeling great. I go to bed one night, dude. Right. And I remember this so well, right? Because I'm just laying there like, this is so good. Right? Like I feel so great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had a dream, dude. Like I was watching myself holding a baby. I knew it was my baby. It kind of looked like my son, right? But it wasn't any of my kids.
Okay.
Right? I'm like, what the heck? I wake up from that dream like, holy crap, that was so real, dude.
Yeah.
And I get a text message on my phone. And it's my wife. She's like, are you awake? So I'm like, yeah. And she's at home, like downstairs, like not that far away.
Yeah.
You
Weird
know?
how the wives do that.
Yeah,
Right? They
you
text
know?
you when you're like one level away.
Yeah,
But anyway, yeah.
So like, she comes in there and she opens the door like just like happy and smiling. And I'm like, she's like, guess what? I'm like, you're pregnant. Cause I just woke up from this dream. Like,
Wow.
yeah, dude, crazy. It was like,
Did her jaw just hit the floor?
she's like, how did you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just dreamt this, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is going on with me? Because I'm feeling so amazing. Now I'm dreaming things that are coming to reality. Dude.
Yeah.
Like, what is
Was it
this?
actually? And was it a boy too?
No.
Okay.
That's the funny thing.
Okay.
It looked like my son.
Yeah.
So, like, if you were to look at pictures of them two being born right
Yeah.
now, they look exactly the same.
Okay. Okay.
It's so crazy.
Well, and it's true. A very small baby. I mean, it's you don't know. You know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
From
It was
Yeah.
just like, whoa, and I'm like, man. So I'm just like in like this weird feeling, dude. Like, just what is going on? Like, something was going on, right? Like, I could not explain it. Like, if I was to tell somebody what I'm going through,
yeah, they think you're nuts.
because you have to look at it from that perspective. You know what I mean? That third person perspective, in a sense, right? So, me and my wife were like, we're not gonna tell anybody, right? Like not saying anything, and I'm like, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, in a sense, like I want to tell somebody, right?
Yeah.
And so, I had my brother-in-law come over, and
And you guys are pretty close?
yeah,
Yeah.
we were super close, and
Because he was in the Marines?
no, he wasn't.
No.
Not that one.
No, okay, sorry.
So this is my sister's
Okay.
husband, which
But you're close with him. That's cool.
yes.
Sweet.
So
Okay.
like I'm wanting to kind of tell him everything that's been
Yeah.
like going on, like you know what I mean, and and I told him about the baby and stuff like that, and at this time we kind of were going over his like kind of what the position was going to be, because I did state that he was going to get a job there, but as he was leaving, man, and it's crazy, but I'm talking to him and he's about to walk out the door, and I'm like, dude, I wish I just knew what this because this was like the only thing that was actually bothering me was this like vibration thumping in my ears. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And as I said that, dude, it was like heaven, like something from above. I thought it was aliens, dude, because like I'm not to any of this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
like I was more into the fact that I thought it was that, right? Like,
Yep.
or I was going nuts, right?
Yeah. Both very possible.
Very possible. And I told him, he was right there, and I'm like, dude, and he just like kind of looks at me and like, dude, I could see it from his perspective. Like, dude, yeah. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sorry if I swore. I didn't mean it. But I'm sitting there and I'm just like, what the heck, man? There's something going on, right? Well, I had a like a
So you're
meeting.
sitting, so you're talking to him,
Yeah.
and then something just like caught your attention.
So it was like, as I said, I wish I knew what
This ear thing
Yeah,
was.
and it was just like clean. You're cleaning out the earwaves, So it was like, what the that's what I heard.
And it got like better. Or wait,
No, that's all I heard. I just heard the
Like-
that was it. Cleaning out your earwaves,
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what does that mean? You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like because you hear something,
Yeah.
and it's like you heard something, like, but it wasn't. Like,
And it wasn't your brother-in-law.
no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just looked
Okay.
at me like I was nuts. But
Yeah.
I understood, because I'm like, like
I
what?
heard something.
Yeah, like, am I going nuts?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So, I'm sitting there like it's contemplating, like, what is going on with me, man? Like, am I just like, because obviously there's another child on the way, like stress is hitting.
Yeah.
Right? Like you think something, like must be wrong with me or something, right? I didn't think that, but my family did.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because like you could sit there and say these things, right, until you can actually understand, right, to that, like, put yourself in that perspective. It's like, okay, you also, you know what I mean? Like,
You're like, I could see how I sound a little goofy here.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
And my words might not be the best trying to explain that, so I
Yeah.
appreciate you helping me out.
Yeah.
on that.
No.
So I'm like, just like, what the heck, man? I had a meeting with the vice president, right,
At the company.
at the company,
Yep.
man, and like, I with all these ideas, man, like I was like just boom, 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 and this was on April 1st, dude, all right, that I had to go in this meeting, right?
And this are we present time this year? April
No,
1st?
this is April 1st, 2022.
2020. Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
So I went in there and I kind of was like, I scheduled this meeting because I wanted to present what I could do,
Yeah.
right, or what I had in mind, how,
How can I help the company? This is
Correct,
my
like,
ideas.
you know,
This will change
yeah.
this. This will.
Correct.
Okay.
100%. Just all authentic, just trying to, because I had so much knowledge in the testing, with fireplaces and designing and fixing and stuff like that, all these designs came from a lot of that, right? Like from that understanding. And so I'm just drawing stuff out on the whiteboard for them and stuff like that. And like after that interview, it was just like, hey, we'll just go tell the engineering manager. Like, okay. So I did. I wasn't being selfish. It's like, this is here,
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had to go on site at a church. I don't remember the church's name, but I had to go to a church, and I'm just like at that church, like thinking about the meeting and like my life, right?
Reflecting.
Reflecting and like, dude, I don't want to do this. This, like, not that it's a bad job. I just don't want to do this. My body's not, you know what I mean? Like,
So you had all these great ideas and all these different things, and you had a meeting, and you kind of just like, the tune just changed, something inside. It's like, I don't know if I really want
Because it was like, like here, it's like just boom, right? Like just done, right? Like I just felt like I got squashed on.
I gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so, I go to the, to fix that fireplace at the church, and as I'm there, I'm just, and which really crazy because this fireplace was, got like reflective panels, and I seen in the reflection a cross. You know what I mean? There's a cross there, and I thought to myself, that is cool, man. That's pretty sweet, right? And so I'm, get past that point, and I'm just thinking like, man, I don't want to do this anymore. And I tell you, man, like I prayed so many times in my life, but I prayed selfishly.
Okay.
I prayed selfishly, right? But this time I prayed for guidance. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Help me. Like I don't, right? So much stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
And
that's a hard prayer when you have a billion things going on.
Yeah.
Like your mind and everything's going 1,000 miles an hour. To hit that pause button on everything
Yeah.
and just have that prayer.
Yeah. It just like, just like, man. But like, again, I prayed so many times before, right? It left my brain, dude. It like, 5 minutes later, I forgot that I even prayed because it's like,
back into fast forward mode.
Back into to the, right here, you know what I mean? So, I'm driving home and I'm just thinking about stuff and I'm just like kind of down, and I'm just, even though I felt great, I was down.
Yeah.
Right. And I just, I get home and I'm like, just in my garage thinking like, what the heck? Why? Like, why? Life. What did I do?
Yeah.
Why? I feel like I'm a good person. I feel like I treat people good. Why am I always getting crapped on?
Why am I always last?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why am I always like, what did I like? Why? I started thinking about people, right? Like, and I'm in school, so like I'm also indulged in like some really cool stuff, but I'm learning about like Newton and Einstein and all these, people, and and I'm just like, what made them better than the person that was, had good ideas as well, and it just, I couldn't understand, like what, right? Because there's so many people out there that had just as good ideas that they had, right? And I kid you not, man, like I don't never go, like there's no reason for me to go to the Bible or Jesus, right? But
Yeah.
I did.
Okay.
Right? Like I did. And I thought about
In your garage?
Yes.
Yeah.
By myself.
Yeah.
Like I'm just sitting there, and like not sitting there, I'm standing actually, dude. And freaking, I thought like, what did Jesus, like what would have made a man, right, go through everything that he went through, right?
Yeah.
Like everything, every single thing, the pain, the torture, the just ridicule, right? Everything. I knew that stuff.
Yep.
Right? Because you hear that.
Yep.
Most of anything.
But you didn't really understand why.
I didn't understand, but I just thought, I'm like, well, I put myself there, like not there, but like there's only one way, really, right? Like you think there was something more that he knew, Like think about that for a minute. As a human or a man, right? What would make you go through every single thing that you went through? Try and tell people,
this is the way to live and this is the way to do it. And nobody's listening, or most people aren't. You're getting persecuted. Like you said, tortured. But he did that because he came to earth to save us, because he loves us that much. He loves us.
it's insane.
A love that's uncomprehendable, unfathomable.
Unfreaking fathomable, man. I mean, so I'm sitting there. That's obviously, I'm like that. Because
you're just processing
because
this.
that's the only way that I would like honestly
be able to describe it and accept it.
Like, in a sense, that's the only way that I could understand a man being able to go through everything and not give it because he knew, right?
Yeah.
He knew. So mentally in my head, I'm just thinking like, would I ever do that? Right? Would I ever do that? And this is coming from heart, not even knowing what was about to expire like next, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, of course. Not in his situation, but in the situation that I played out was more of like, would I be selfish, right? And try to go be with my family, right? And just get one, like try to be with them rather me saving the world when I could have at that point, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wasn't selfish, right? Because there had been so many more deaths, right? If I was to go and do this selfish act.
Kind of put yourself in like a Superman kind of position
Correct.
in your head a little bit.
Correct, in a
Okay.
sense, but I wasn't looking at it like that's just who I am.
Yeah, you were just kind of just playing it out.
Yeah, but that's who I am, right? You know, and I just started thinking about this, like what you've probably heard millions of times is that we were created in the image of God, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that right there was the spark of that voice that I heard, right? It didn't even say anything. I just knew it was what it was, right? And it was like almost like the trumpet, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But not a trumpet.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just giving you,
Yep.
so, but then, dude, it was like, right after that, it was just like this white, golden, warm love, right? And it came in as I am who they all speak about in all the books. I'm like,
Wow.
yeah, dude. But
So this-
I knew exactly who it was.
And
It
this
didn't
is-
even matter.
This is still in your garage.
This
just
is
kind
in
of
my garage. This is in my garage, dude. I'm kid you not, man. Like I'm fully immersed, right? Like, dude. And the only way I can explain it is like, you've seen TV, you've
Yeah.
seen movies,
Yeah.
telepathic stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? Like conversations straight real. Like spiritual eyes and ears are real, right? Like even though this came behind me, I didn't see him with this eyes. I seen him with my spiritual eyes, man. You know?
Okay.
And it's just like, whoa. So like me being human, right? And
Yeah.
me just obviously thinking in the way I was just thinking, what do I say? I have no idea. I'm not in, churches or anything like that. So I'm just like, am I Jesus? You know what I mean? Like, and it's just funny because like I look back at it now, right? It's like, yeah, who wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the situation I was in. And it was just, it says, no, but you were like him. But so is everybody else, right? And I chose to come here. Like I was shown that I came from our source. Like you'd see, like I chose to come here, right? To be on this earth, right? I chose to be here. And as we are babies, that's like when we're the closest to our Father.
Yep.
We are born into like this life of, all the things that we eat. It manipulates the temple within us, right? All the food we eat, all the clothes we wear, the smell, the corruption of mind, right? And so, that was said, man, and then it was just like, what the, you know what I mean? Like, whoa, why me? Like, why are you coming to me? I don't deserve any of this shit, Sorry for swearing, but it's just who I am. Okay, sorry. But, I'm like, just, dude, like, why me, right? And it was because I didn't idolize it, right? I didn't idolize it, meaning like, we'll go into why.
Yeah. So you didn't idolize. So you're still kind of having like this conversation
This is, yes.
in the garage. Yeah.
Correct. 100%,
And it's saying because you didn't idolize Jesus. or
God.
God.
Yes.
Okay.
Jesus, God.
Yep.
Right. So,
That's why this thing came down to intervene with you.
so right after that, it was like my ego was like crushed in half. Like I had no more ego. It was
Now you're not
gone.
worried about being last anymore.
Dude, my ego was gone. It just like it was gone. Like it was gone. But then right after that, it was my whole entire life, bro, was flashed in front of me from the moment I was born to the freaking moment that it happened right there. And it was all predestined to happen right?
Yeah.
And like it was like the judgment scales that you see in the courtroom.
Yeah.
And it was like you're fit as good, right? Like that's exactly what it was, right? So then I'm like, well, what do you want me to do, right? You know, like I know you're real now, you know, like what do you want me to do? He wanted me to show people how I did it.
You got some Ephesians predestined over there, Adam?
And
That's where I was after. So this is the beginning of Ephesians.
Hang on, he's on something right now. What do you want to finish something
Sorry.
before he says it?
so and I'm not saying I am anything.
Yeah.
I am nobody.
Yeah.
Okay. After that, it was keep doing what you're doing, and put a crown on my head, and it said I'll be back, and it was gone. I ran inside as fast as I could, right? I ran inside as fast as I could, man, and I was telling my wife, I'm like, God is real. God is real. You know, like
Yeah.
I called my sister, I called my brother-in-law, and they're like, yeah, God's real. And I'm like, no, God is real. You know what I mean? Like, and,
Yeah.
and like, I didn't want, like, I feel selfish in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Because
Like,
like,
I gotta
don't
tell people.
but not that. Just like, what the heck does that even mean? Like, oh, sorry. So after the crowning was put on, it was like all of the every king and anything that was having authority was being knocked down like checker or like by with chess pieces. That's what
Okay.
it was like. You
Yeah,
know what I
things
mean?
are just tumbling.
Yeah, like it was just like, you know, like that was crazy, right? So I run inside and I tell my wife, God is real. Call my brother, right? God is real. I call everybody, like just, you know, in excitement, dude.
Yeah.
Like it was amazing. Like I'm trying to tell people God is real. You know what I mean? Like, and like people were just looking at me like I was
This
freaking
guy's
crazy.
nuts. This
Yes.
guy's nuts.
Yes. You know what I mean? But I, you know, like I look at it and I'm like, I would think that too.
Yeah.
I would sound
Yeah.
like, you know what I
That's
mean?
fine. Well, that's fine though. I mean,
No,
that's
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at that time,
I'm going to interrupt because it's this is the beginning of Ephesians, and I know you're not well read in the Bible, Marshall, but this is literally praise to God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who has blessed us in the heavenly realms with every spiritual blessing in Christ. For he chooses us in him before the creation of the world to be holy and blameless in his sight. In love, he predestined us for adoption to sonship through Jesus Christ in accordance with his pleasure and will, to the praise of his glorious grace, which he has freely given us in the one he loves. In him we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins in accordance with the riches of God's grace that he has lavished on us with all wisdom and understanding. He made known to us the mysteries of his will according to his good pleasure, which he proposed in Christ to be put into effect when the times reached their fulfillment, to bring unity to all things in heaven and on earth under Christ. So if people hear Marshall's story and go, this is outside of my understanding and I don't think it's Christianity, well, Paul talks about it. It's in Ephesians right there.
yeah.
see, I don't know any. This is
Yeah.
where I say, like, when I think I told him, I just speak from my heart, like,
Yeah.
to truth, like, you know what I mean? Like, truthfully.
Mhm.
Like, there is no reason to make something this serious up. Like,
Yeah.
why would somebody do that?
Yeah.
Right? You look at
Yeah.
Paul, right?
Well, like you said, you don't do that. You're not running around like
No.
trying to
No, I
get
don't-
famous from this or
I
anything.
am nobody.
Yeah.
I am
yeah.
nobody.
Yeah.
100%. Like, this happened years ago. So if I wanted to, it was, when you know, you know.
Yeah.
Right? This moment here was
Yeah.
meant to happen. The moments, like all these moments that are happening, it's the reason that we miss things is because we're not paying attention. Right?
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
are not paying attention to God speaking. For me, like that the things that I was watching people in church, be happy about and be like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, I'm that now. I understand now. I can have that relationship now, right? And
well, you understand the predestined. You were predestined for it. But when you don't understand that you're predestined for it,
don't know
it doesn't
any of
make,
that stuff. Like, you don't know anything. Like, I still don't know anything. I know God is real, right? But that doesn't.
Well, the nice thing is you're not an adult of God. You're a child of God.
Yes,
you don't have to know everything.
And the craziest thing, and this makes me so happy because what reborn is, right, is so. I relate to what that means because you are washed clean.
Yeah.
You are washed clean. You are reborn, right?
Yeah.
You are reborn. Like, your whole life is reborn. You are a completely different person, but you are still the same person you were before.
Marshall, have you been baptized?
Yes.
Awesome, dude. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, and this is the happiness, right? Like, this is it's like amazing. Like, you want to tell everybody, man. And I did. I still do, you know, but it got kind of at a point where it's like I wasn't going into the Bible, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't. I would go and try to go to church. I actually had to go back to church to fix that same fireplace. Because I think it was April 1st, 22 was on a Friday. And on Monday, I had to go back there. So when I went to the church, I told them every single thing, you know, and they're just like, here, read the Bible.
You need a copy of this.
I'm like, yeah. So I opened it up, bro,
Yeah.
and I opened it up, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh.
Things are just jumping out at you.
Yeah, because it was like, this is me. Like,
Yeah.
this is
written to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, you know, I'm like, okay, you know, I put a little bit into the Bible, right? But I didn't.
Yeah.
I needed more. I didn't know that though at the time, man. You know, and I'm gonna explain why, man. Because everything started going downhill, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Even though I might have had an experience, right, with God, right?
Yeah.
Based, like, we call it like a first-hand view.
Yeah.
Some people don't even get that at all.
Yeah.
Right.
So after that, things started changing.
Yeah.
And
So
it went the other way.
So yep. So like it started going downhill.
Okay.
Right? Because in a sense, like, I'm like, I don't know, like, who to tell. Like,
I told the 5 people I wanted to.
Yeah.
I'm out of people.
I told everybody, man. Like, I told everybody at work. I was just like you become more immersed in, like, positivity, man.
Yeah.
Right. Because, like, when I say the most powerful thing is love, is because it is. It's God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and you don't get nothing but that, right? Nothing but that, right? And you can only show and reflect your happiness to try to help somebody else get to that happiness, right? You know, and fulfillment in a sense, right? So, you know, telling everybody, I'm like trying to talk to my wife who, you know, did not want nothing to do with this at all. Like,
She's
you
like,
know,
oh no, he's officially crazy.
yes, dude. And, you know, like, I know I'm not,
Yeah.
you know, like, but I could see still, like, I'm at that point where I could look at it from this point of view, you know, the third person. And it's like, man. And I'm just like, at nighttime, like, we would try to talk during the day because it was struggle, man. I'm like battling right now.
Yeah.
It's like, what the heck, right? So, like, things went sour, dude. Like, things were going bad, you know, and it wasn't, you know.
What was going bad? If you don't mind, just like some
dude.
little examples.
Well, just think about it, man. Put yourself in that position. You're trying to tell everybody,
Yeah.
and everybody you love.
And now they're kind of thinking you're mental
Correct.
or crazy.
They're talking in
and
between themselves.
They're gossiping about you.
They're talking in between themselves, right? Like, there's something wrong with him.
Yeah.
You
We got to
know?
get him help.
Yeah, they gotta get him help.
Yeah.
He's losing his mind, right? And I'm just like, dude, this hurts even. So,
Yeah.
like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, now I'm kind
I
of.
love you guys, but God, this hurts.
Yeah, like, come on. Like, do you guys really think, like,
Yeah.
you know, like, that would be me? Why would somebody make something up? Like,
Yeah.
and first of all, like,
Yeah.
First of
Of
all,
all the things to make up.
100%. And, like, you know, the scariest thing is knowing, right? Because now you know, man, our eyes, they say these things like, what's done in the dark always comes to light, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason for that.
Yep.
A huge reason for that. you know? So it's like, you know, if you can't, your eyes, dude, you know, are the lenses, you know, so are yours. So are, you know, the birds and the bees and, you know, everything in between, you know, that you can't hide things. So like you just become a better person in general, you know? And, you know, it's just like, man, where did people's faith go, man? Right? Because
Yeah.
the smallest.
So you're battling that.
Yeah, it's because it's like, I don't see how, like, you know, like, maybe, you know, like what I looked at it is I was pushing too hard. But not only that, I was also not putting my face into the Bible, right? The reason I say all these things because when you have nobody, right, but God, right, you have something physical to go through, right?
Yeah.
And you can now sit there and look at and read
the word.
the word, which is truth.
Yeah.
Right. And you don't, it doesn't matter who it is. You're not
making
crazy.
sense of
You're
it.
not crazy anymore.
No.
You're not, you know what I mean? So it's like that I stress on that importance, man.
Yeah.
Right. If you're struggling in that area, right, look at the Bible, read it, feel it, you know, because there's so many people out there that I feel like have been in that situation where they didn't have anybody,
Yeah.
like to you know, but luckily
And they go to church maybe, but they don't participate. They don't
Yeah.
actively on their own open up the Bible and look into it.
And like, truthfully, you know, like it'll get you through, you know what I mean? And it took me a while to
So things were just kind of
rocky, man.
Yeah. Well, and you got to think, we've talked about it before. You know, when you pick a side, the other side is also trying to get you back on their team. So it gets more real.
Yeah.
When you're kind of just living in the way of the world,
Man.
sometimes things just kind of go up and down, and it's just, you know, but once you pick a side, the attacks become more real.
And it's so real though, you know, like people don't realize there's a spiritual side. It's really deep, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like,
Well, I think a lot of people realize there's a spiritual side, but they don't understand it.
I didn't. I mean, like, I didn't know, like I looked at everything like that. It was like, because you are like,
I
you're
still
prone.
don't understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't, because we're prone to watch TV as like a Superman and like all these superheroes and stuff. Like all these things are supernatural, but it's not. It's real. It's reality. It's actually the realest thing in you ever. You know what I mean? So it's like, dude, you know, and it's just like, dude, my life went down, bro. It went down. Like, my wife was gonna leave me. Like, dude, like, I didn't know what I was doing wrong, because all I was doing was trying to preach the word, like, that I was trying to speak, right? You know what I mean? But it was making me look like I was
Crazy person. Okay.
right? And totally wasn't. Like, but
Yeah.
I could see again.
Yeah.
I relate. You know, and I remember just, you know, and man, I remember just like, what did I do wrong? Like, what the heck did I do?
Now you're back to the last place thing again.
Yeah, correct, 100%.
You almost kind of did a full circle.
Yes, dude. So like, I'm like, what did I do wrong? Like, because now I'm being pushed out.
You're back to the selfish why me thing.
Yeah, correct. I'm getting pushed out of my house. You know, like all these things are like freaking, you know, going downwards. I'm living at my sister's place. Like, I'm walking the streets just like bawling. Like, what did I do wrong? Like,
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what I did. Like, you know, and I put my face in the Bible. I'm not, this is like, you can't make this up.
Mm-hmm.
Can't make this up. As I'm sitting there, man, day by day, taking walks, just praying, putting my face in the Bible, reading it, waking up in the morning. First thing, God. Last thing, God. Right? Everything was going to God.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And God brought my family back to me. I was back there, you know, a couple weeks later. Right?
So you kind of, summing up, you had a vision. You were on fire and things were just like, yeah, crazy. And you're telling people, and then everyone's like, okay, this guy needs to go to a clinic, or this guy needs to be checked into a ward. And you're kind of going like, well, what? You know, like, no, I'm right. But no one was believing you, and you're kind of having that almost have to stick up for yourself. Why am I last place? Why am I last place? This happened, and then it kind of goes full circle, and you're like, well, I didn't go into the Bible. I didn't continue on with this vision. I just I lit the firework and it went off, but then it was done, and you didn't continue.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So then you dive back in.
Yes.
And now God starts putting them back together.
Yes.
Okay.
Like that, like you can't make that up. Like
Yeah.
that, for me, right? I know where I gotta be at, man.
Can I jump in? I'm just gonna jump in.
Yeah.
Okay, he's jumping in.
Let me jump in.
I said he can't, but he is.
This morning, I love the book of Job, and I've been out of it for a couple years now. And this morning I read chapters 38 to 42. That's like the end of Job, and this is the Lord speaking to Job. And for you guys that don't know the Bible or who Job is, I would suggest reading it. Take it slow. Understand it. But Job is a good servant of the Lord. God, and maybe I'm saying this wrong, basically, I guess in my opinion would be like tests the enemy. Like, all right, this is my servant Job. Have your way with him. Right? Here's my servant Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
Have your way with him. At the end of it, Job, this is the beginning of Job 42. I know that you can do all things. No purpose of yours can be thwarted. You asked, who is this that obscures my plans without knowledge? Surely I spoke of things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me to know. You said, listen now, and I will speak. I will question you, and you shall answer me. My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you. Therefore, I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes. It sounds kind of like Marshall's restoration.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Right out of the Bible.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man. I give praise I'm nobody. Again, I am nobody. And I think a lot of people think,
but you're somebody to God.
Correct. But being the selfish person, right? That's nobody. You when you know like who your father is, right? Like I'm talking to my dad about going to church and reading the Bible. I'm calling my father on earth my dad, right? But my father for real, right? Where I really came from, who we all came from, right? Father to my father.
Yeah.
Crazy. But again, even though like that's God tells me, right? You're going to do it. Like there's going to tell people, right? But that's the instruction manual right there, guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it didn't, that there wasn't that. Those are the things you have to kind of figure out, I guess.
Yep.
And and find people that, can relate. Because if you can't, you're living the new you, right? And trying to hang out with people that knew the old you.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. And it's just not a good combination. It's
hard to stay. It's hard to walk that rope.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though like you will always be the old you with the knowledge that you carry, because that's who made you, kind of like your foundation.
Yeah.
Kinda, you know what I mean? So like, it's
important to curate that community.
Yes. Because like how are you supposed to relate with somebody now? Like, you know what I mean? I was an addict. you know, I was a piece of crap, right? I was all those things. I'm still not even feeling like I'm worthy, right? Because it's such an amazing thing, right? When you get to experience that love.
Well, it's such, I think, as humans, it's easy to, think we're not worthy. Like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not worthy. Like you said, I
Correct.
feel like I'm a piece of crap.
Yeah.
I'm the lowest of low.
Yeah.
I'm last place.
Yeah.
And Jesus, you read the Bible, he specifically talks to those people. He hangs out with the tax collectors and the sinners. He's looking for you, looking for me. Those are the people he's looking for. The sick need the doctor.
Yeah.
The healthy don't.
It's crazy. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's
that's all just the Bible.
It is, and it's like you'll read like a lot of like look at Paul, man. He murdered Christians.
Yeah.
And you're gonna tell me that
probably the greatest apostle, arguably.
But you see what I'm saying though? Like people, and I was one of them. I didn't really even know, but hearing that story is like, wow, people, listen, look at Paul.
Yeah.
He murdered people, right? He murdered Christians, and yet Jesus still used him.
I'm going to use you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because and that goes to where I didn't idolize. Somebody who doesn't idolize God is now idolizing God.
Yeah.
Right. In a sense, right. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to give all praise to God. Right.
You had your Damascus Road in your garage.
Yeah, dude. 100%, 100%, bro.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like it's truth. You know what I mean? Like God will use the people that you think will not be the ones. Because like, dude, I did not go to church. Man, I'm not. But yeah. So like now I'm involved in church. I'm putting my face into the Bible, trying to learn about my people because those are our people.
Yeah.
Those are our people, man. You know what I mean? Those are how we relate to them. Like we can only relate to them unless we find somebody in this natural world that we can relate to. You know what I mean?
So you dive into the Bible and things start clicking back for you.
Oh yeah.
And so where does that go for your family? Does it start now consuming your family?
What part?
As far as like God, Jesus, like church, you're like, hey, we all like. You kind of start shaping your immediate family.
100%. I'm telling, like not telling, but I'm my wife obviously was, more involved in church and stuff like that. I wanted to go, but I wasn't gonna go without her, So
yep.
And this is all falls into line to like just the best things ever because like you'll see how this unfolds to how God puts people, things in your life. Everything is worked out, right?
Yeah.
Way before we are even aware of this.
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
he predestined.
Yeah,
he knows the plan for you
it's
before he
crazy.
created the earth.
Yeah, dude,
he knew your plan.
Crazy, dude.
We can't we're not made to comprehend that, but
No.
we try to. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's like our thing. We have to try to figure everything out.
It's just crazy, and it's like
When you let go of that,
yes,
it's easier.
Yes, yes. So so like getting involved with the church, kind of doing working our way slowly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yep.
And, we went to a couple churches that just didn't feel right. You're just kind of just didn't feel right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, which is you should. I think everyone should. Try a couple churches.
Yeah.
Do a little. It should feel there should be something.
Yes.
That kind of pulls you
in. And that's exactly what happened. So
you found one.
Correct. It was man, magical, man, magical. So the place is called Harvest Church. It's in Big Lake, right? And I didn't know that it was just popping off to be a church. They were building a church at it,
Yep.
And so it was like the perfect,
timing,
dude. Right?
You're popping off, and this church is this thing.
Yeah. So like and like I'm like, just like okay, it's a good foundation. We kind of work, grow together and kind of get to know each other without trying to have a big crowd and then trying to, what I'm saying? Like you can be part
Everyone's
of
the new people.
Yes,
you're not the new people.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, cool. And we start, getting together. Great things are happening and stuff. And, and I'm just, I would take walks. I would say I was going to take a walk with God, right? Because that's what I was doing. I was reflecting, you know, on like just life and like what do you want me to do, you know?
Isn't that a big thing?
It's huge.
That I was talking to a friend that, and it almost relates to me and Adam were talking about fasting a little bit. But we'll try to stay on point here. So I was talking about how when you force yourself to disconnect, you can connect so much better with God.
Yes,
So like going for a walk with God, like not with your phone.
No.
You're just going for a walk. Like you
100.
go out into the earth.
Yes.
And you go for a walk, even if it's in town, whatever.
Yes.
You're just out going for a walk and you're with God. You're just being present.
Yes.
With nobody but yourself and God.
Yes.
And that's something I think that a lot of us miss.
Yes.
And myself at times, I'm totally not preaching to anyone but myself here too. But I think that forcing yourself to spend time with God, undistracted, is something that I want to strive to do better of.
Yeah.
You know,
We always want to.
It's not just maybe it's reading the Bible in the morning or night or whenever you have time. That's great. But, your phone's probably sitting next to you or the TV's, maybe it's on even or whatever. What about, I think that's a good challenge to ourselves.
Yeah.
Go for a walk with God.
Yes.
Find an alone moment.
Yes.
Where you can just be with God.
Yes.
And see what happens.
Yes. Oh, your life will change. I promise it will change. And I say this because when that our Father, right, God created every single thing and has control of every single thing.
Yeah. You don't have to worry so much.
You don't have to worry. But because not only that, but like when we talk about signs, right? When we ask God for something, right? Whether it be in prayer, right? And giving it all to God. Like I was saying, like going for a walk, right? And I'm kind of thinking like, is this the church you want me at, God? Is this it? Right? And I kid you not, man. I'm walking down the street and the pastor drives down the road right next to me. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Right? That's not only time, man. So like, I'm just like, okay, all right, God, cool.
Yeah.
So, I ended up going over to Pastor Kevin Dremel's house, and we were just talking spiritual, and he's like, hey, man, next time, when you're walking, kind of just write down what you're thinking or what happens when you come back, right? So I'm on my walk, dude, and man, that thought hit my brain, right? And I'm like, oh, I'll start paying attention to some of the things around. I kid you not, 2 crows fly from behind me, right, past me, and I'm like, I didn't think anything. I'm like, well, if a third one flies away, then maybe it's something, right? Dude, the third one came flying, right? And it directed my head to fitness area where the pastor's van was at. I kid you not, dude. So I'm like that. That's enough. That's all I need.
I'm going to this church.
Yeah, this is it. This is the one. This is the one. I'm gonna give it my all.
Yeah. No way the pastor let the crows out.
No,
behind me.
Exactly.
Stage this whole thing.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, but you see, like, only one can understand how that stuff works, right? When I say that stuff, that means that's like God isn't like that's God moving, right? That's God speaking, right? But you can't be spoken to if you're not paying attention.
Yeah, that's so true.
So, like that was just like, okay, crazy. And then I was walking, dude, after I was just like, wow, this is so crazy. I didn't know he even worked out at that place, right? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, wow, dude,
yeah.
I wouldn't even have looked that way if that first crow went that way, you know what I mean? And I just remember walking by those crows and they were just staring at me. I was just like, dude, this is nuts. I got to go tell him, like, So like those things right there, man, we miss like God speaking to us all the time because a lot of us
aren't looking for it
or take it as a coincidence.
Yeah.
Right?
No such thing as a coincidence.
No such thing as a coincidence.
Yeah. No such thing as luck or bad luck.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, we're on the same level there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like being able to be aware, will also make you more aware of how you treat people.
Yeah.
You know, because we all want love, right? But we're not willing to give it. So, you know,
Yeah.
that's where I feel like that's
selfish.
Selfish.
And that goes, kind of which goes through your story here.
Yeah.
The last place thing. Why?
Yeah.
You're always like, why am I last place? And he's like, well, who else feels the same way?
Yeah.
How do I show them love?
Yes.
Like, yeah.
100%. So like you change, like, and you you really do treat your neighbor with the most love you can give them, right? You give the guys that you meet for the first time a hug.
Yep.
Because you want to show them love, right? Because that's how I want to be treated, right?
Yep.
I don't want to be treated like crap. I don't want to be talked to like crap. I don't want any of that. I don't even like fighting,
Yeah.
right? Like I don't like any of that stuff, I just want peace, man, right? And try to just live life that God intended it to be, right? Free, like this is like freedom, man. You know what I mean? But you also have to be obedient and give that praise, right? Like I'm not nobody again.
Like there's freedom in the obedience.
Yes,
Yeah.
Correct, yes.
So early, right out of the gate, you talked about a neighbor coming over.
Yeah.
What
amazing man.
Okay, what was that? You brought that up like that had a piece of your story or a piece of
man.
something you wanted to share.
Yeah.
If it is, I just want to
Yeah.
capture it while you're here. Otherwise, if you're like, we're good, we can keep moving. And
Yeah, he's an amazing person. And again, God, when God sends you a friend, you do not ignore it.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because it goes along with paying attention, right? Not only that, but the feeling that knowing that person, right, was more than that moment. Like I felt like I've known this guy.
That's what you said. That's
yeah,
you. Yeah.
I've known him forever. Like it was just boom, straight connection. Find out him and I are on like that same level of thinking of like, he's.
So when was this? Was this after? Where was this in your journey? Where you and him hit it off?
This was right before. This is right before the first initial.
Vision.
No. This was right before my family and stuff. Like,
oh
yeah. So like, I didn't really get to talk to him like as much as I would have.
Mm-hmm.
But we did. Just because we did kick it off real.
Yeah.
We did talk a little bit.
Yeah.
Most generous person. But now we're like best friends, man. We hang out and we talk, God and praise God together. And when I'm down, I give him a call, and he's there for me.
See that? I think that's cool when you have a brother that you can reach out to. That always, no matter what, will pick up that phone and be there for you, especially
Absolutely.
in Christ and in faith,
man.
because it's not easy.
Yeah,
it doesn't necessarily get any easier.
No.
Yeah.
No. And that was one mistake. I think I bite
initially
I bite my tongue so hard because I remember after the experience with God, dude. I'm just like thinking I bite my tongue. I smack myself. I'll kick myself a million times for saying this, right? But I'm human.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm human, right? I said it was easy. That was not. It was not easy. I will say it is the hardest thing you ever do, right? I said it was easy because it was something that just happened, right? Not knowing what the full extent was going to be, because it's a battle. It's a huge battle.
Yeah.
But initially what got us, the neighbor and I, was, I think I straight up asked him, "Do you believe in God?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, nice." I'm like,
oh, I didn't expect you to say that. I just want to tell you because I had this vision and
I
was cool.
Yeah.
But everyone looks at me like I'm crazy, but you believe God. I guess you don't think I'm crazy.
Well, it's like, because I know God is real. Like, it's a difference. Like, and I'm not trying to be like downplaying anybody. Like, like you and I are talking right now. Like, you're having a conversation with me. That's how I say I know God is real, right? Like, there's nobody that's ever gonna tell me that didn't happen.
Yep.
Right. But people will try to take that from you, and some might even let it go all the way, and they're either homeless or they're
Well, it's
somewhere.
easier to say you're crazy and dismiss it than to believe it.
Oh, dude.
Because we're always looking for a reason why not,
Yeah.
instead of a reason why to.
True. Very true. Very true.
You know,
very, very.
I think it's
very
just like
true.
a hardware thing we have.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. And hey, if you ever wanted to interview him, you could interview Albert as well. He's got
Yeah, we
stories
might have to
beyond
talk to
story.
him.
Yeah.
We might have to talk to him.
Yeah.
Wow. Marshall, that's some very deep, interesting things. And I think what's cool is your genuine excitement,
Mm-hmm.
your brutal honesty, your unapologetic honesty, not in a rude, in your face. You're not that way. You're very just, hey, I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I'm just, and you have a confidence that because you know Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to worry about anything else.
No. And
that's what I see is that love. You want to love.
Yeah.
You want to show love.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like you want to scream it from the rooftops.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
yeah.
Really
I think I got a hug before I got a handshake.
You did. No,
Yeah.
wait. No, I gave you a handshake first. Then a hug.
That's right.
I was like, oh, because I honestly, I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm just doing what God wants me to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just
opening up, letting the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's like, that's real stuff, man. Like, if I was to tell anybody listening, right, to never give up. Don't ever give up. Go to God. If you don't know God, find somebody that does. Find somebody that can help you find, time to read the Bible to you, explain it to you without criticism, without any kind of judgment. Because we're all trying to figure this stuff out. We all have different stories. We all learn some, we've been through things, right? And we all have questions.
Yeah.
We all have questions, and don't judge people that are asking them.
Yeah. I was just going to say, what is your advice to then the other side, the other person, for how do you respond to somebody that reaches out and asks you about God? What would you say?
Oh, I would tell them, man, that's a hard one right there. That's a good one right there. That's if
I mean, you started there, and you said, listen to them.
Yeah, you're gonna want to listen.
Be honest with them.
Yeah, you want to, I mean, if it was me, right, I would just say to, like, I know God's real.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? And if you want the truth, right, I'm gonna tell you it's right there in the book, right?
Yeah.
But don't let other people, right, give you mixed knowledge, right?
Don't take someone paraphrasing the Bible as the Bible. Read it yourself.
And do not go outside of it.
Yeah.
Don't go outside of it, meaning like, okay, I'm going to go.
I'm adjacent to it.
I'm going to go aliens and I'm going to go this, like the spaceships are all, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
don't mix it all.
Don't mix it all.
I'm going to take a little Buddhism, a little Christianity, and a little this, and a little evolution.
And love everybody, right?
Yeah.
The way that you want to be treated.
Yeah.
And just try to live a happy life. I mean, everybody has issues. Again, we go to the temple, right? What is the temple? Our body is a temple. Meaning, when we fast, we're ridding these things, right, that are in our body that are actually, I kind of put it at this. Radios have wires, right?
Yep.
If that radio had a kinked wire in it, right, you wouldn't be able to get the signal, right? Meaning the communication.
Yep.
Right? You wouldn't be able to get that Maybe you got a little bit of it, like,
yep.
We've
all done that. At least maybe some of the younger generation don't know.
Yeah.
Getting the radio signal.
Yeah.
But
So,
Chuck, you know what we're talking
Kind of.
about? Love you, Chuck.
So, I look at it like that because one of those, whatever that wire is, whether it be the things in your body that are, food wise, or if it's your mind, or if it's, something else, like the feelings in you, right? If you aren't correcting them, right, to be better, right, meaning like love, right? Don't be despiteful. Don't be judgmental, right? Eat things that are healthy for you, right? And stay in the Bible, man. you know, because it tells you right there, everything, every single thing, you know. And I'm one of those people, right, that just kind of like, I'll read it and I'll be so excited, you know what I mean, and I'll now forget it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I struggle with the same. Adam is like great. He can just like flip the page open and just be like,
amazing. He's
boom,
like,
here we are.
He's like a Bible himself.
Yeah, he's got it. But I think he would tell you he's done a lot of intentful, you know, reading and just training himself.
Yeah.
You know, so I give myself a little bit of grace, knowing that, you know, if I stay in this thing, I'll start, you know, sticking. Some of it will start sticking more and more and more and more.
Yes.
The more you expose yourself.
Yes. Yes.
So.
Yes. Especially, man, like, and it's hard, man. I'm telling you, like, if I look at it back in the perspective I was in prior, you know, and kind of like that mindset, I wouldn't, you know, maybe I wouldn't, because I'm here right now. There's nothing I would change. I am who I am right now because of everything that I did, the way I did it, and who I was.
Yeah.
Right?
Because God had a plan for you. You accept it.
Correct. 100%. And
see, that's something that I think I'm guilty of struggling with, but I think a lot of people struggle with is you think you become a Christian and you need to be like ashamed of everything up until this point.
Oh man.
But if you look at it as those were all, God put you through those things for a reason.
100%.
Because he had a plan for you.
100. And he planned for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Predestined.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's so amazing, man. You know, but you know, I'm just me. I'm nobody.
Even John sitting in the other side of that chair is because I heard John. I don't want to say we were at a small group, and he was talking about his former life in a way that was like, man, you're so much better than that. And I called him and I said, hey, you need to get your testimony in shape. And I don't know why, but it was like this feeling that was like, I feel sorry because you're not that person. You're a new person.
Mm-hmm.
And look at where God put him right there.
Right.
Like,
I see it, you know, I see it. And it's like Adam and I were talking. I was like, man, you know, Adam and I did not know each other. Like, you know, but I know we were brothers now.
Yeah.
Now I know we were brothers, right? Like there's a difference now, right? But I know why that we were, you know, meant to meet each other in that place at that time and all that things, because it's right here, man.
Yeah.
You know, like it's to praise God, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, man, such an amazing journey, dude.
Very, very much so.
You want to know what I find inspiration with Marshall's testimony? Is because we
live review right now.
Well, I'm sorry. No, I can say this because I love Marshall. It's man, we don't do this often, right? We've never done this, but I think what is important about Marshall's testimony is it isn't faith in faith. It is literally faith in God. Not everybody, like, I mean, to handle grace, like smacking you, I mean, like, just boom, grace filled with it, like I couldn't handle that. Like, and then to like come around to it, and then like, I love it.
Yeah.
You know,
dude, Jesus is the way, you guys. I'm telling you right now. 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 And you have to remember, I didn't even know Jesus, like, but I mean, I didn't even know if he was real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even know if he was real, but now I know he was real. Like, there's not you know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a question in my mind.
Beautiful.
It is beautiful. And I just wanted to say that because if you asked me something, what would I tell somebody? I'd tell them I would tell them that Jesus is real and try to figure out, you know, why he was doing the things he was doing.
Love it. Well, Marshall, I appreciate you coming on. I mean, I think we had a few good verses, but I'll read Matthew 20. I'd suggest, you know, everyone to read it, but verse 16, so the last will be first and the first will be last. And I think that sums up a lot of why am I last? Why am I last? And then you realized I'm not last. I'm first because of Jesus.
100%. Like, you know, he died for for everybody, for every single person, and for people to come, for people like me, when I did get to that point, to be like, I already did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's what you're getting washed in the blood of Jesus, man. You know what I mean? That whole entire things are amazing when you look through the eyes of Jesus.
Well, if that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what we're gonna go do something crazy now. So hopefully, when you're listening to this, you might have to just like hop out of the car,
Dude,
go for it might not be a walk with Jesus, it might be a sprint. I don't know what it'll be, but I appreciate you being on.
And appreciate you.
This is super cool, and we'll have to do it again sometime.
Absolutely, brother.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thanks.